story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, the best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You are a detective sergeant. You are assigned to burglary detail. A well-organized gang launches a campaign of burglaries in your city. They hit stores, warehouses. You set trap after trap for them, but they seem to know every move you make. Your job? Get 'em!
More and more smokers coast to coast are saying this about king-size Fatima every day. They are so different, so pleasing. Yes, in Fatima the difference is quality. You see, Fatima contains the finest domestic and Turkish tobaccos superbly blended, and Fatima is extra mild. Compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette. Well, you'll find Fatima gives you all the advantages of extra length, plus Fatima quality, which no other king-size cigarette has. Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Next time, buy Fatima, best of all king-size cigarettes.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From the beginning to the end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, May 9th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, Chief of Detectives. My name is Friday. We were on our way out from the office and it was 2:37 p.m. when we got to the corner of Norwich and Figueroa Street, the used car lot. Not gonna get through this gate. Padlock on it there. Oh, I see. Main entrance is around the corner down there. On Norwich. Oh. Just look at the way they'd got those cars lined up in there. Think they'd have every gate in the lot opened up. You pick up that bunch of mugshots for R&I? Yeah, I got 'em right here. Sure a scorcher this afternoon, huh? Yeah, it's supposed to cool off some tonight. Too bad you couldn't make it over to the house for dinner last night. We ate out in the backyard. I barbecued some hamburgers. Hope you had better luck with them than they did the last time. Yeah, oh yeah. Threw some kerosene on the charcoal. Had a good hot fire. That's so. Uh-huh. My hamburger had a taste of kerosene. Nobody else mentioned it, though. Guess they were all right. Have to try it again next time you come out. Yeah, uh-huh. You see anybody around? Back there by the office. That looks like 'em, doesn't it? Oh, yeah. Hi. How you doing, Sergeant? Been looking for you. Hiya, Goldie. Good to see you. Romeo, how are ya? Goldie, how's the job going? Not bad, not good. You got my message all right, huh? Yeah, we appreciate it. Well, I don't know how much good I can do you. Tell you one thing. I'll try. What's the pitch? There's some place around we can talk, Goldie? This is all right, Sergeant. Not going to be anyone around to bother us, but the flies. What's up? Maybe you check it out in the papers the last couple of weeks. Burglary gang hitting stores, warehouses. Oh, yeah. They've been moving pretty fast, I hear. What else do you hear, Goldie? Not much. Nothing you could put your finger on anyway. Yeah. What kind of setup you looking for? Maybe 4 or 5 guys. They had experience. We know that. You hear anything at all? A few rumbles. Yeah. Like I say, nothing definite. Friend of mine, he caught a Chino a year ago. He was around the other night to see me. He was talking about it. The burglary gang. Uh-huh. How much do you have to say? He's not tied with them. I'll tell you that. He still out runs on fringes once in a while, but he's clean. He got a few rumbles downtown, that's all. What did he tell you, Goldie? It's supposed to be an outfit from the east. I don't know where. Like you say, they're supposed to have experience. Say, we got a cooler full of soft drinks around here by the shack. 4 or 5 guys in the setup, like you say. Friend of mine says one of them might be a blonde guy. Name's Hodges. Mean anything to you? Any description on this Hodges? No, friend of mine didn't say. Just overheard it, you know. Open this for you. Here you go, ice cold. Thanks, Sergeant. Thank you. Sure warms out here on this lot. Say, got a great trade joke for you. It's the truth, too. Happened to me. A couple of tire kickers came the other day. Real cubes. Tire kickers? Yeah, you know, no sale customers. They come in, walk around the cars, kick tires, then they walk out again. No sale. Oh, I see. Anyway, these two tire kickers come in and tell me about a 31 sedan they bought down the street. The guy who bought it says to me, "Mister, I drove the car 2 blocks and it blew up like a E-Tromic." Then the other guy says, "No, Max, you got it all wrong. You mean an atomic bomb." Telling you, Sergeant, real cubes. Uh-huh. Don't like to press you, Goldie, but your friend have anything else to tell you? Not an awful lot, no. Supposed to be the gang's got some connections in town. Maybe some kind of tip-off system. I wouldn't know. Where'd your friend pick up this talk? I don't know that either, Sergeant. You can talk to my friend if you want. I'll write his address down for you. Fine. This burglary mob, they're making pretty big takes, huh? Picking up, Goldie. Over 60,000 in merchandise. We're feeling a lot of pressure on it. You can count on me. I'll pass anything I hear. I still owe you guys for helping me get started again after I got out of queue. It's one thing I ain't gonna forget. You've helped us a lot, Goldie. Leave the bottles right here? Yeah, that's fine. Say, I couldn't interest you in one of those specials today, could I? Got some nice late models, clean cars. How about those 2 people over there? Just wandered on the lot. And they look interested. No, I can just tell by looking at them. Couple of real gophers. They're worse than tire kickers. Gophers? How do you mean? Gophers! Fence jumpers! They go from one car lot to the next, never buy a thing. They crawl all over the cars, leave the doors open. They start the car, gun the motor, you know. They never buy. They're much worse than the tire kickers. You don't like the job much, huh, Goldie? It's not too bad. It's better than having law on your tail, like that gang you're after. Can't understand that pitch anymore. How do you mean? I figured it out on paper. Dollar for dollar, I'm making much more than I ever did trying to racket. Just plain honest working. Uh-huh. It's the truth. You'd think those guys would figure it out. Just plain old honest working. Yeah, maybe they never tried it.
For a full 30 days, the expertly directed operations of the burglary gang had half the men on detail chasing them from one end of the city to the other to stop the raids on stores and warehouses. It seemed the faster we moved on the gang, the farther they got. Additional men assigned to the night patrol, more stakeouts, closer surveillance of stores and warehouses. It all went for nothing. We checked time and again on the possibility that the burglaries were a result of an inside tip-off. Night watchmen and warehouse employees were checked in and rechecked. We found nothing out of line. Traces on possible suspects through the record bureau and statistician's office netted us nothing.
We tried every routine procedure in the book. We were still without a solid lead. We had our informants such as Goldie working overtime for us. Still nothing. Ben and I left the used car lot and looked up the friend of Goldie's. He said he overheard the talk about the burglary gang in the bar one night. As much as we talked to him, he couldn't remember the bar or who did the talking. The investigation went on. So did the burglaries. 4 days later, Ben and I were called into Chief of Detectives Thad Brown's office. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told the other man working on this thing. I don't care how fast you're moving or how hard you're pushing. We're more than a month deep in this job and we still haven't got a lead. Now I want one. We backtracked over every foot of this case, Skipper. Double-checked our informants, all the possible suspects, everything. Then keep digging. The front office doesn't buy excuses. I can't buy 'em for you. That gang of thieves grabbed close to $70,000 in goods. How much heat do you think we're taking from the merchants, the insurance companies, the warehouse associations? I don't know what your idea of it is, but I can't help thinking the gang's working some kind of inside angle, getting tip-offs. The way they've been dodging our stakeouts, you'd think we publish them in the paper. I know it's been checked on. No sign of information leak anywhere. What's your idea, Skipper? I don't know. I'm inclined to go along with Friday. Everything points at a tip-off somewhere along the line. But where's it coming from? We've checked all the warehouse employees, the watchmen, all other channels. You know that as well as I do. How about the number of stakeouts running now? I've had them doubled last week or so. For all the good they do, the men might as well go home in bed. Can't you work anything out on your informants? Someone has to have the line of those thieves. They can't be that quiet about the deals they've gotten away with. We've got a half dozen people scouting around for us. Check with them every day. They don't know any more than we do. How about the bulletins we got out in the stolen merchandise? Anything turn up on that at all? A few nibbles. None of them panned out. Got every department in the country watching for that stuff. That's one thing we can count on. The thieves are going to have their hands full trying to unload the goods. Excuse me? Brown speaking. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. What was that? Yeah, right. Soon as possible. Right. Might be something. Yeah? Valley Division. One of their traffic cars found a truck sitting in a grove of trees off Coldwater Canyon. Abandoned. What's the pitch? Truck was all right except for a burned-out distributor. They figured it was left there last night. Couple of empty wooden crates in the back of the truck. Uh-huh. Crates had warehouse labels stamped all over them. Tie-in? Same warehouse that was raided last week. Along with a crew of men from the crime lab and latent fingerprints, Ben and I drove out to the valley and checked out the abandoned truck. The empty crates found in the truck were definitely identified as having been taken in a burglary of one of the largest warehouses in the city a week before. Originally, they contained furs, but there was no trace of their contents. The truck was impounded and taken downtown to be checked over for fingerprints. Meantime, we ran a license number through our DMV and found it was registered to a John Baldwin. We checked his last known residence, but he moved. No forwarding address. We ran the name for an R&I and found a John Baldwin with a petty theft record. His prints were checked against those found in the cab of the truck. They matched. From Baldwin's mama sheet, we got the name of his nearest living relative, a Raymond Baldwin. We went to his last known address, but he also moved. After another day of checking, we traced him to a place of business, a chicken farm in the west end of the valley. His wife told us we could find him at a horse show and rodeo which was going on in the valley that week. We finally located him at the grandstands of the rodeo, the public address booth. That's right, I'm Ray Baldwin. We're not supposed to have any visitors in the booth. Police officers, Mr. Baldwin. Like to inquire about your brother, John? Well, what about him? We'd like to locate him. Can you tell us where he stays? Say, could you hold on a minute? I gotta make an announcement here. Sure, go right ahead. And now, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eye on chute number 3. Chute number 3, it's Cowboy Tom Granger riding Black Diablo. Tom Granger, all right, Tom, let her go. Sorry, officers, gotta keep the show going. What's it about my brother? I'd like to locate him. Do you know where his present address is? Whenever he's in town, he stays with me. He hasn't been around for a month, though. Have you heard from him in the meantime? No, I haven't. He went up north on some kind of business deal. Could you tell me what you want to see him about? I'm his brother. Do you know if he owns a truck, sir? Yeah, John's got a truck. That's his business. Works hauling small loads from here to San Francisco and back. He hasn't been in an accident, has he? No, sir, nothing like that. Do you have any idea when you expect him back in town? Well, to tell you the truth, I thought he'd be back by now. Thought he'd write a letter anyway. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. All right, folks, now back to the chute number 1. Keep your eye on chute number 1. This time we have a favorite rodeo performer from coast to coast. It's George Buster Travis. He's riding Nevada Fury. Okay, George Buster Travis, let her go. That ought to hold him for a while. You say your brother John owns a truck, sir. Do you know if he took it with him when he went on his trip north? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, John drives that truck everywhere. If anything's wrong, I'd sure like to know, officer. Is there anything wrong? Routine investigation. We work out a burglary detail. Are you acquainted with any of your brother's friends, Mr. Baldwin? Any of the people he associates with? No, my brother keeps pretty much to himself. Do you know of any of his friends at all? There is one fella. Don't know if I care much for him myself. Used to work with John down at one of the warehouses. I think he had a police record. That's why I didn't care for him. That's so. Yeah, never acted right to suit me. He's a tall blonde fella. Uh-huh. His name's Hodges. Before we left the suspect's brother, Raymond Baldwin, we got a complete description of his brother's friend. identified as Norman Hodges. We asked Raymond Baldwin to notify us as soon as he heard from his brother. Then we went back to the office, checked Norman Hodges through R&I, and found he had been convicted of second-degree burglary 6 years before in Buffalo, New York. He also had one conviction for grand theft auto in California. We got our bulletins, APBs on both Hodges and John Baldwin. In the week that followed, it didn't seem to check the burglary gang. Together with the other men assigned to the case, we ran down every possible lead on Hodges and Baldwin. Routine investigation failed to turn them up. 8 o'clock Monday morning, May 25th. Burglary Friday. Captain Wisdom? No, not right now. Any message? Okay. Joe? Good morning. I was just at Thad Brown's office. I think we've got a live one. What do you mean? Burglary gang. They hit up another warehouse last night down on Commercial Street. What's the word on it? 10 minutes before the burglary, a patrolman spotted a guy sitting in a car down the street from the warehouse. He went up to the car, asked the guy sitting inside for his identification. Yeah? The man pulled out a policeman's ID card. The name was Paul Eastman. Patrolman said the guy had on his regular topcoat with his uniform on underneath. He claimed he was there on special duty, had all his identification, so the patrolman went on his way. A couple of minutes after that, the burglary was pulled. If the guy was impersonating a cop, where'd he get the ID card? That's just it, Joe. There is such a cop as Paul Eastman. Works out of Hollywood Division. The patrolman identified his picture. What reason could Eastman have for being down on Commercial Street? He couldn't have any reason. Huh? Last night was his night off.
You are in the Scientific Investigation Division of a Metropolitan Police Department. The Ballistics Room. You have just heard a test bullet fired from a .38 caliber revolver found in the possession of a suspect. The test slug is removed from the ballistics box and compared with the slug found at the scene of the crime.
There they are. Side by side they look alike. The examination will prove the world of difference. You'll find the same is true when you compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette. Side by side, Fatima are the same length and circumference, 85 millimeters long, 1 64 inches around. And Fatima filters smoke exactly the same long distance as any other king-size cigarettes. But in Fatima, the difference is quality. Fatima gives you extra mildness, a much different, much better flavor and aroma. Remember, Fatima gives long cigarette smokers all advantages of extra length, plus Fatima quality, which no other king-size cigarette has. Next time, insist on the best. Buy Fatima, the best of all king-size cigarettes.
There are at least 2 criminals for whom a police department will spend any amount of effort to apprehend. One is the armed thug who shoots down a police officer. Obviously, the man is dangerous because if he wouldn't hesitate to shoot an armed officer, he wouldn't hesitate to shoot an unarmed citizen. The second type is a police officer who betrays his trust as a public servant to work hand in hand with the criminal. He is equally dangerous because of the harm and disgrace and the contempt for law he can inflict while hiding behind his uniform. It's not hard to see why many a policeman considers an officer turned thief no better than a killer. Besides bringing shame to the rest of the department, the bad cop violates the most obvious standards of conduct. He becomes the very person he has sworn to hunt down and apprehend, a common criminal.
Monday, May 25th, 8:15 a.m. We notified the Bureau of Internal Affairs about the information on Officer Paul Eastman. Then, Ben and I got in the car and drove out to Eastman's house in the Echo Park area. It is a modest one-story cottage set back behind a couple of palm trees. Yes? Mrs. Eastman? Yes, what is it? Police officers, Mrs. Eastman. My name is Romero. This is my partner, Sergeant Friday. Did you want to see Paul? I'm afraid he's not home yet. He told me he might have to work late. Did he say what time he'd be coming home this morning, ma'am? Just about this time, I think. Would you come in, please? Thank you. All right, thanks. The children aren't up yet. I was just fixing some coffee back in the kitchen. Would you care for some? No thanks. It was something important you wanted to see Paul about? Maybe I could help you. Thank you, Mrs. Eastman. We'd like to see your husband. Oh, well, I don't think you'd have long to wait. Paul should be along any minute. You usually work late on Sunday nights? Monday morning? Yeah, oh yes, he has been for about a month now. Paul hasn't been on the force very long. I guess you know that. Yes, ma'am. He found it hard to get used to, the overnight work especially. Do you men work overnights? Yes, ma'am, we take our turn at it. I'd like to ask you a question, Mrs. Eastman. Yes. Which day does your husband have off? Why, none. I don't think Paul's had a day off in weeks. That doesn't jibe with his schedule very well. He's had Sundays off for the last month. I don't understand. Are you sure you haven't made a mistake? No mistake, Mrs. Eastman. Wonder if you can tell us how your husband's acting lately. You notice anything out of the ordinary? I don't think I know what you mean, Sergeant. Does he seem to be working a pretty irregular schedule? Well, yes, but he said they were very busy down at the station. They call him all hours. That's what he told me anyway. How does he seem to be making out financially? All right? Yes, we make out just fine. Paul has a job on the side he works to get extra money. Oh, what kind of job, ma'am? A machine shop downtown. Why do you ask? You ever see him at that shop? Do you ever see one of his paychecks from the shop? Look, Sergeant, I don't understand any of this. I want to know what it's all about. I'm sorry, Mrs. Eastman. There seems to be only one way to put it. Yes? We think your husband's been working with a burglary gang. We're here to put him under arrest. Paul? I'm sorry, ma'am. No, Paul wouldn't do that. He wouldn't. Paul's not a thief. I'm afraid that's the way it looks, Mrs. Eastman. Sorry. I couldn't believe that about Paul. What's he supposed to have done? We'll know that when we round up the rest of the gang. Seems pretty certain he's been working with the gang, though, giving them confidential information, acting as a lookout for them. Probably accounts for a lot of time he's been spending away from home. No, not Paul. I can't believe it. I can't. Take it easy, Mrs. Eastman. I'm sure you've made a mistake, Sergeant. My husband's never given me any reason to think he'd do anything like that. How long you been married, ma'am? 5 years. We have 2 babies. Paul's always been a good father to them. He never do anything to hurt them. Just one more question, ma'am. Then we won't bother you. Does your husband have a den or workroom in here in the house? Somewhere he keeps for himself? No, there's a large cupboard downstairs in the basement. He keeps his guns locked in there. His hunting things. I wonder if we could see them, ma'am? I don't have a key. Why do you want to see it? Quite a bit of merchandise missing in these burglaries. Like to look if you don't mind. I don't understand it at all. Paul did bring in some packages a few times. It was late at night. I asked him about it, but he just kind of laughed it off. I thought maybe he had a present for me or the kids, and he was putting them away. Could you show us the cupboard, please? It's this way, back through the kitchen. Thank you. You really don't have proof, do you, Sergeant? I mean, you don't know for sure. Well, we're not positive. There's nothing to it. Your husband's still got a lot of explaining to do. Be careful of the stairs. They're a little steep. Right over here, this big cupboard here. There's some ventilation holes along the top here, Ben. You got that pencil flashlight with you? Yeah, here you are. Thanks. Can you see anything? Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Do you know if your husband keeps any of your furs in here, Mrs. Eastman? Furs? Why, no, I don't have any furs. Afraid you'll have to break the lock, ma'am. We'll see it's replaced. You can break it if you like. If that's all right. Paul kept it locked so the children couldn't touch the guns. His hunting rifles. Would you reach me that steel bar over the bench over there, Ben? Yeah, there we go. Get this loose here. Looks like it. Recognize any of this, Mrs. Eastman? Furs, silver fox, it can't be. I don't understand. What's that tag say, Joe? On the bunch of furs. Let's see. What is it? Let me see. No, it's nothing, ma'am. Please, let me see. To my dearest Helen from Paul. Beautiful furs for my beautiful girl. I'm sorry, ma'am. No, it's all right, Sergeant. I have to go upstairs now. The children are waking up. All right, ma'am. Mrs. Eastman? It's all right, Sergeant. I never cared much for silver fox. We continued searching the basement cupboard, in addition to a couple of dozen expensive fur pelts. We found a packet of letters from a Helen Burroughs. There was a return address on the envelope. Before we left the Eastman home, we called the office and a couple of men were sent out to keep the house in constant surveillance in case of Paul Eastman's return. 9:25 a.m., Ben and I got in the car and drove to the address of Helen Burroughs, an ultra-modern apartment house above the Sunset Strip. We went up to the third floor, apartment 308. Yeah? Police officer. You Paul Eastman? No, you got the wrong apartment. Hold it there, Eastman. I'll break your leg off. Get out of here. Get out. Hit it, Ben. I'll push your face in, cop. All right, you. On your feet. Who do you think you are breaking in like this? Hold it, mister. Real tough dicks, huh? What are you doing, bucking for a lieutenant? Where's your girlfriend? Helen Burroughs. It's a one-room apartment, cop. Do you see her? All right, come on. I wouldn't even offer you a payoff. You wouldn't have brains enough to take it. That's right, Eastman. Let's go. You can't beat it. There's nothing worse than a dumb cop. You bet there is, mister. A bad one. Before we left, we searched the apartment for any trace of stolen merchandise, but we found nothing. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout in the apartment. Then we got Paul Eastman in the car and drove downtown to the office. We took him to the interrogation room where we questioned him for more than an hour. He refused to admit that he had any connection with the warehouse burglaries or anything to do with the burglary gang. 11:30 a.m., Eastman requested that he be allowed to talk to Chief Detective Thad Brown. 11:40 a.m., Thad Brown came to the interrogation room. All right, Eastman, say what you gotta say. I'd just like a fair shake on this. That's all, Chief. Yeah? These two dicks have got it in for me, trying to railroad me. Won't even listen to reason. That depends, Eastman. What's your idea of reason? It's the truth, Chief. They're not conducting this thing right. They're trying to sweat it out of me. They keep putting words in my mouth. You go ahead and name it, Eastman. You name anything we've done out of line. Believe me, Chief, this isn't the fair way of doing things. Can't we go into your office and talk? Let me set you straight, mister. You're a burglary suspect. You're not a privileged character. You're questioned in the same room and the same way any suspect's questioned. I just want a fair chance, that's all, Chief. Tell you what I have in mind. Go ahead. And you can stop calling me Chief. You stopped being a cop the minute you were arrested. Look, can't we go into your office? I'm busy, Eastman. You can tell me right here or forget it. All right, I'm sorry. I just want to say maybe I did get misled. Got involved with this gang. I can do a lot to straighten this out, though. Yeah? I promise you, I can give you all the dope on the gang you want. The whole setup. How they operate. How you can reach them. I'll tell you everything. It's like a little consideration, that's all. Yeah? I think you'll see my point, Chief. I can give you all the information you need. You can pick up the whole gang in a couple hours. You'll have the whole thing wrapped up. I can tell you everything you need to know. Now that's worth something, isn't it? What do you want? A little consideration, that's all. I can crack this whole case for you. That's worth something, isn't it? Immunity, is that what you want? Well, that's not asking too much, is it? I could break the whole case for you. That's a fair way, isn't it? Sit down in that chair, you crooked little bum. It's time somebody read you off. It's time you got wise to what you are. I want a fair deal, that's all, Chief. I can hand over the whole gang to you. Now let me tell you something, Eastman. I wouldn't take you up on that if it meant 50 years before we reached that gang. I wouldn't take you up on that if it meant my job. You get this through your head, mister? You're a bad cop. You want to know what that means? What it really means? I can tell you 1,000 ways. I'll only use a couple. This isn't a private affair. You're a bad cop. You're a lousy one. You'll be all over the front pages tonight and tomorrow morning. Everybody's going to read about you, a bad cop. It makes great news. They're not going to read about 4,500 other cops, the guys you think are poor dumb slobs, the honest cops who walked their beats last night, the guys who risked their lives, who did their jobs the way they were trained, the way they were hired to do. People aren't going to read about them. They ain't going to read about the Fridays and the Romeos, the rookies pounding their flat feet out on the sticks, the traffic boys on the motorcycles, the men in R&I, or the crime lab crew, or the guy in robbery who stopped 2 thugs last night. They're not going to read about them in the front page. They're not going to read about the millions of man-hours churned in by thousands of honest cops here and all over the country. People ain't going to read about the cops who worked 40 honest years, the Donahos and the Steeds and the McAlollys, the wisdoms and the tetrics and all the rest of them, they're not going to read about the 98%, mister. They're going to read about you, one crooked thieving cop. He worked with a burglary gang. He had an apartment for a beautiful dame and a beautiful fur coat. And he was a cop. And he had a nice wife and he had 2 children. Do you know what that means? Every kid in school with a cop for a father will have to fight his way out today because of you. Every woman with a cop for a husband is going to go shopping in the market today, and she'll have to answer for the butcher and the grocer, every one of the neighbors because of you. Every cop in this city and across the country is going to have to stand trial because of you. We could have piled up 100 years of great policemen and great detectives, men with honor and brains and guts. And you crooked little bum, you tore down every best part of them. The people who read it in the papers, they're going to overlook the fact that we got you, that we washed our own laundry, and we cleared the thing up. They're going to overlook all the good. They'll overlook every last good cop in the country. But they'll remember you, you bum, because you're a bad cop. Book 'em in, Friday. All right, let's go. What's his big beef? You think I was the only one in history? What's the idea, anyway? Come on, Eastman. You think I was the first cop to try a deal? Yeah, it's too bad. You bet it is. I'm not the first one. Too bad you're not the last.
The story you have heard is true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent. On August 7th, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 89, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now here is our star, Jack Webb. Thank you, friends. A little while ago, we told you how Fatima compares with other king-size cigarettes. Now I'd like to review those facts. Fatimas are the same size as any other king-size cigarette. They filter the smoke the same long distance. But that's where the similarity ends, because no other long cigarette can give you Fatima quality. In my opinion, Fatima is the best of all king-size cigarettes, and thousands of brand new Fatima smokers back me up. Remember, next time, buy Fatima. Look for the golden yellow package.
The police officer, Paul Donald Eastman, was tried and convicted on several counts of burglary in the second degree and received the sentence as prescribed by law. The other members of the burglary gang were apprehended and received like sentences. Second-degree burglary is punishable by imprisonment for not less than 1 or more than 15 years in the state penitentiary. Ex-police officer Paul Eastman served his full sentence and was released from prison. 1 year after he gained his freedom, Eastman was stricken with cancer and died within a few months. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, the best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet from Los Angeles.